Hello, good evening, and welcome to your Monday night podcast here on Four Lads Had a Dream. My name's Andrew. I'm joined tonight by two of my very favourite podders, Calvin and the other Andrew. How we doing, gents? Preseason is finally over with Middlesbrough picking up, I think, what's now a typical 2-2 win at Ibrox. Andrew, a starting 11 I don't think we're likely to see again, hopefully. And an opportunity for some players to put themselves into the manager's plans. I think, unfortunately, some of the players use it to take themselves out of the manager's plans. But all in all, a good fitness exercise, I think, and not much more.
Yeah, the manager have learned how the adaptability of these players are. Given some strange opportunities and operating some players maybe out of their comfort zone, but he would have learned how the players react to that. I think he was quite, he was right in singling out, Cortez and Gentles, because I think they were kind of both well and truly out of their comfort zone. But yeah, I think their application was commendable, and I think they rightly deserved a bit of praise, which the managers always have to give. I think he's quite open to that. If you do the right things, you'll get praise for it, and he certainly made that clear in his post game.
No, for sure. I think he was. I think Calvin quite direct when it came to his comments. Like, they were quite pointed. Talking about how things improved once the good ones came on. And I think that was it was well noted. There's obviously plenty to talk about from the game. You were there, obviously, with Stevie and the gantry. How was that? How was the experience of being at the game? And did you manage to pop along the gantry to have a chat with Russell Martin once he got the sent there for the second half?
Yeah, it was a good experience. I normally sit in the second row, so being a bit higher up, got a bit better view to see how player movements and that were happening. So it was interesting sitting next to Stevie. I think we got a good view of the handball. I think we were recording at the time, and I think I tried to save it pretty much. It was good. No, we didn't get a chance to quite go on and speak to Russell. I think he was quite well guarded at that stage. And we just thought it was up to get a better view, like Walter Smith used to be. We didn't really know he'd been sent off till pretty much the end of the game, which was a bit interesting. And fair. At least they got the proper view of what refereeing's like in this country sometimes, because it's like, that is the best. How was that not a penalty? That's the best. It's not even like a debatable one. His hand was up. He was pretty much trying to block it like he was playing volleyball.
I think you could tell just by the flight of the ball, it changed very slightly because it went from coming down to being straight out. And I think, when you punch it to do that, yeah, it's a little obvious, I think.
It was interesting. Interesting new technique.
Well, Russell's got to get to learn about Scottish football and Scottish football refereeing sooner rather than later. So, he's well acclimated to it now, and it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds through the course of the season. I like the question about, do you think you're going to get a ban for that? Like,
I hope not.
He's still he didn't think that was a possibility, but I mean.
Never know.
Yeah, exactly. Not a great deal that I think we picked up from that, Calvin. Just sticking with you on this, but we probably now know where certain players fit in the manager's plans. We know that we now have a couple of options less now as well, with Robin Propper's transfer out finally being confirmed, and with Mason Munn, our third choice goalkeeper, also heading out the door as well. So we know that we've started to reduce that squad, but I think if that match demonstrated anything, it was that we have a number of bodies that we're still looking to get out the door now.
Yeah, there were some players that had a chance to impress. I don't think they did. Obviously, some people are put in opposite positions, but he was right in what he said that Cortez normally plays left wing, get played in at right back. Yes, he had some shaky moments, but it never stopped him. He was always chasing back. He put a few good tackles, surprisingly, when he's one-on-one defending, and he brought it out quite well. It was a good chance for him to get some minutes. It was interesting. The guy that's been injured all the time gets put into position where you run the most, pretty much. That was an interesting one. The likes of like Connor Barron, me and Stevie talked about it quite a bit at the game. He was asked to play in that 8 role, and I just think that's maybe out with his capabilities at times. He's a limited number 6 that can sit in and break up play. He can make simple passes, but when he was asked to go into that final third, you could see it was just like a deer in the headlights at times. Just trying to Who else? There was when young Hutton, felt sorry for him. He had an okay start, but I felt sorry for him to start the second half because he kind of just got lost a little bit at that stage. Bailey Rice, I thought he was going to start in at centre half next to Fernandes, and I thought that would probably been a slightly better setup for the way the team was. Fernandes would have been your typical defender. Bailey Rice would have had a chance to bring the ball out. So, yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I think that's the word, right? It's Andrew, as we said, it's not going to be an 11 we see, but it's certainly an opportunity for some players to try and impress. Russell Martin was full of praise for Josh Gentles as well as for Oscar Cortez after the game. Kind of notable that no one else merited a mention there. So I think it tells you where he's like, because ultimately we discussed this on the Friday pod that this was going to be an opportunity for folk who weren't in the team last week on Tuesday to get themselves into the manager's plans for this Wednesday. I don't think too many of them managed to do that, unfortunately.
I'd maybe give a wee shout to Lyle Cameron. I don't know how soon it would be to really get him, into the team. I think you're probably, in terms of a kind of attacking eights, you're maybe talking probably Bayrami ahead of him, not like maybe in a bench position if you were going to throw him in for ahead of a Diamandi, for example, as a sub or something like that. But I was impressed with Lyle. I thought he added that kind of Duracell bunny energy in an attacking sense. I think with Connor you get the same kind of thing that Cameron does in the attacking sense. You get that with Barron in the defensive sense. I just don't think the two of them could do each other's positions, but they're both useful in their own wee ways. For our first impression in front of Ibrox support and again I was going to say in the blue of Rangers, but it was the white away top, which was frustrating. The game's gone. They were wearing our away kit at home. But I was happy with his performance. I think I gave him the in-stadium man of the match, so I think that was probably fair at that point in time. The rest of the kind of subs came on and did what I expect them to do. Yeah, Josh Gentles again, shout out, is a player that I really like. Seen him in B team games, spoke to him a few times last season. Great young lad, kind of good solid head on his shoulders. I know he gets a lot of support from his family and the club, so yeah, it was a good cameo, not really, get a kind of half. Because it's very different to the way he was used in the B team and how he featured in the first pre-season game, being the kind of out-and-out striker, kind of getting shunted out wide. But I thought his hold-up play was good, which again, if you're going to fizz the ball to him and he can hold it up and get other people involved in the play, then that's what you want. So yeah, I think he deserves that praise which the manager gave him. Shout out to Lyle Cameron, and yeah, I think just roll on to Wednesday.
Yeah, as Bluebirds Blues highlighting there from the chat, it's interesting because the midfield is a packed area now. We've signed a good number of players for there, and probably on paper, pre anyone signing for us, it was probably the strongest position that we had in terms of players that we didn't actively loathe. So it's going to be an interesting one. But I think for a long season where you'd be hoping you're competing in 60 games, you're going to need those options, that rotation, that ability to change it up as and when. Asgard is still a bit of an unknown for us. We don't know how he's going to fit in. Maybe Lark Aaron, sets himself up and gets himself the jersey, and then it's up to Asgard to steal it back. And I mean, that's good. You want players competing for positions because steel sharpens steel and all of that. In terms of other signings going out the door, McCausland, we understand, is going to be heading out to Aris on loan. This is just what I've heard from Stevie, that it's finer details are still being discussed, but it's looking like a loan option that's due to be finalised in the next couple of days, which figures he's not featured in any of the preseason camps. Dito Cifuentes is apparently off to Sport in Serie A. That's all the information I have. That's all he's given me. Targeted for a loan move. It would be lovely to get him off our books permanently, but it looks like it's a loan move. So we'll see. We'll obviously keep you guys up to date with that. But let's face it, like the most important thing and the things that we want are transfers in, because we're greedy like that. And we've got a wide range of players that I think have been rumoured. But first one that I wanted to discuss is Mikey Moore, 17, 18-year-old from Spurs. Let's throw his stats up on the screen. Let's see if this works this time. Look at that. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Lots of numbers that are good, probably. Big shout out to Kai Watson for providing these for us. I know Stevie's got a big habit of nicking his stuff, and obviously he's done that to send to me. So, very excited about that. But Calvin, as a player that I actually did see play a couple of times, he, I think, has looked like a promising young player. I think it would definitely be a loan. I don't think there's any chance that they let us get an obligation or even an option to buy in there unless we're going to be prepared to stump up 16 million quid, potentially more, because he does look like he's got a lot of potential. But it's interesting that we're still targeting wingers and on the right-hand side as well.
Yeah, it's one that excites me. I'm a wee bit an FM geek as well, so he's a wonder kid in the game, so a lot of us will be appreciating that. We all like seeing them come in the door. It'll 100% just be a loan deal. I can't see Spurs being even contemplating it because they see him as one of the futures of their football club. He was brought in last year. He scored one, assisted one, but he was influential in the games that he played. He's played a few in Europe and he's played a few in the league and the cups as well. I like the look of him. He's pacey, direct. He can play up front. He can play off the wing as well. So I think he can be a wee bit interchangeable in terms of that. He'll probably, due to his stature just now, more likely to play off the wide positions. But I like the look of him. Yeah, I think he'll be quite direct. His movement looked good in the times that I did see him. And he did score a goal. So for a young age, I think he'll do really well. I think it's the perfect loan move. Get him used to winning things. Since Spurs finally did win something last year, it's a chance for them to try and implement that into their teams as well.
Yeah, I think we first learned about this because it was reported on Sky Sports News. So Stevie's mate in the press room, Michael Bridge, talked about it briefly, and let's see how magically we can make this happen. Boom, there we go.
A very, very exciting loan move for club and player. Delighted to see that he's chosen Rangers over a number of options. Pretty much every team in the Championship wanted to take him, including a number of teams as well in Germany. But it is Rangers he's chosen to join. I'm sure Russell Martin has had a good conversation with him. Mikey Moore is one of Tottenham's highest and most valued prospects. 17 years of age, featured a few times in the Premier League last season, but really caught the eye in the Europa League against AZ Alkmaar. Sadly, due to illness, he missed a few months, and it sort of maybe kept him back a little bit last season. So a loan suits all parties. It's something Mikey Moore wanted to do. I certainly think he would have been involved in and around the first team under Thomas Frank this season. However, he needs to play week in, week out, and he'll be doing that in a tough competitive league with Rangers, and also European football pretty much guaranteed as well. Let's hope it's the Champions League.
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah, like you said, I think it's a promising one. Player with potential, looking to get more regular game time. Obviously, he's got an injury history, so he's perfect for us. Yeah, it's all positive, Andrew.
Youngest ever English goal scorer in European competition, which is not the worst thing to have against your name. So another one of these, similar to Nash in defence, that it wasn't going to be perfect in this one window. You're not going to solve all your problems in the summer window when you have an early start like we do. Utilising the loan market, if you're getting players that have got genuine quality, you might not get them long term. Not all of our moves can be a Ryan Kent where we do eventually hook them back in, and lose them in a free 4 years down the line. He is a player that I think can do well up here. A chance to kind of go out on his own, get away from the kind of not particularly the expectations that come along with Spurs, but to actually go to our club, freshly reevaluate what does the club want from him, and then go and target and meet those targets. Because if he's been at Tottenham for so long, those expectations will just be run of the mill. That's what you're expected to do at Spurs. Rangers, hearing it again from a different kind of position, you're being brought in to make an impact. He might not have that kind of side of that at Spurs. You'd be brought in when needed, rotational minutes across the competitions and try and state your claim. You're going to get game time here, so make the most of it. So I think that fresh perspective for him will be good for him in the long term, but also good for us because you're going to get that hunger in a player, which, it's never a bad thing. And as you said, if we're targeting 60 games in a season, it's also good to have that kind of fresh legs and energy around the squad.
Yeah, for sure. I think we need to have options as opposed to what we have is like a first team, maybe 6 or 7 good subs, and then other bodies that are in the squad at the moment. So we need to improve that squad and make it look better. And another player who has been linked to look at doing that is Arthur, and I'm always going to use his name like that, Arthur. I don't know why, just for fun. Wait, hang on. Can we make it happen? Yeah, there we go. So his stats again, possibly an option for us to sign as opposed to loan in comparison with Mikey Moore. Again, plenty of decent numbers. 6 goals, 15 assists, so set some stuff up. 32 appearances to do that. And it's one of these things where we've said it consistently, Calvin, we need to add goals from places other than just the striker. Because Cyril Dessers, for all his faults, has managed to pick up 30 goals, I think, over the course of the last season, 50 over the course of the last 2. But it was always dependent on him actually getting those goals. And if he didn't, which did happen on occasion, it could be pretty frustrating because goals didn't look like they were coming from anywhere else. So adding more goals, and he's definitely a player who can contribute in that area, would be very exciting for us. And yeah, this one looks like it's probably got some substance to it.
Yeah, I like the look of him. Something that interests me is he was the highest assist provider in the Eredivisie last year for Go Ahead Eagles. So that's against top teams, Feyenoord, Ajax, PSV, even like your AZ Alkmaar and stuff. There's a good level of team in there. And I'm pretty sure, did they win the cup? I think they might have won the cup as well. So he contributed very, very well. He was also Diamandi's teammate at Nordsjælland. I'm pretty sure it was the Barca Academy he was in. So good pedigree, good upbringing. His stats are there to be seen. He's in a Finnish international, and that's a tough team to get into as well. They do have quite a good load of attacking players as well. Been known now, so I'm looking forward to this one if it does come true. It obviously kind of spins away from where we were last week. We were talking about Raksaki, but this one looks like he's got a lot about him, and the fact that he's proven now that he can score goals, get assists, he's got direct run that takes him into the box and makes defenders make decisions. It gets me excited. It's something a little bit different, and it's nice to have those options. It's good that we're not resting on our laurels. Just one person comes in, and that's his position all season. Competition is key to getting a winning team. You need to be somebody there pushing you along all the way. And it's probably been one of the biggest struggles that we've had in the team, that we've always just had one player has that position and they don't come out. So having a couple of bodies that can make you work harder to really fight for your position in the team, it's exciting. So I like the look of this one, especially if we get Mikey Moore on loan as well. 2 guys that can battle out on that right-hand side and 2 wingers on each side. Brilliant.
Imagine that. Crazy that we have actual competition happening here. It'll never catch on. It's foolish. Someone in the chat asks what age he is. He's one of our transfer targets. He's 23, obviously. They all are. Every single one of them. Even the ones who aren't, they are 23. Yeah, it's, again, young, promising players. It's what we want to see. Players who can contribute as well. I think not just getting a body, but it's someone who's proven that they can compete, and as you said, Calvin, at a pretty decent level as well. So, Andrew, we look ahead now. The friendlies are all done, and we've got the second half of our Champions League qualifier tie to pick up. It's an interesting one because we will probably have a couple more players available and fit. I think Phil Asgard is, hopefully going to be available for it. We also know that Dessers will be available for it. I think Igerman is probably more on the fence there, but we got some more players who would be in a position to contribute in this second half. But it's a tricky one because you're away from home in Europe. In fairness, so are Pana, but they're still playing in Greece, so less of a journey for them. How do you think Russell Martin is going to approach this one? Do you think he's going to stick with his guns, or do you think he tries to play this a bit more defensively, a bit more Walter-esque, if you like?
That's a very good question. Because an early goal would certainly have you biting your nails for the rest of the game. It's exactly what we don't want, is to concede early. I don't know. I really don't know. I really hope he's strong by his principles and he sticks to what they've been practicing. They will need to make some adjustments. I think it'll be about how many adjustments. We've seen that the press can be effective and we do a lot of running. What's that going to be like with a hot climate, so to speak? An element we'll have to consider. Minutes managed. If you are going to get Asgard in there, who's not had this competitive game yet, Serio is going to lead the line. You're going to drop Danny. Danny's been good throughout pre-season and in the open doors friendlies, and including the first leg. I think he was unlucky in the first leg. He has a lot to look at, to decide where he stands, and it's going to be a major test for him. This is the thing. We've seen domestically he's taken a lot of games under his belt now as a manager, going through League Ones, Championships, Premier League. No European experience yet until now. This is where you need to be consulting these people he's spoken with. He's spoken to a lot of good Rangers men recently, so I'm hoping he would have been picking their brains as to just any tidbits of information they can feed on to him and see if he can add that to his repertoire. I'd like to see us go and try and kill the game, because I don't think I can handle 90 minutes of us siege defending, but I really don't know where we're going to stand. I suppose team is going to be the major tell on that one. Having a player like Suits in there at the back would be siege. Where I'm really not sure. I've been sitting trying to think about it. I couldn't tell you a squad. I couldn't tell you a shape, because I really don't have anything to go on from the manager, because he doesn't have any experience prior to this. So yeah, I think it will be telling us to where he stands in terms of attack or defend when we see the team sheet.
No, for sure. And yeah, I think, Calvin, it is that interesting one. We've got a 1 of 1 so far, Russell Martin European games to draw on. So yeah, it's a difficult one, because I think even from my perspective, I don't know where you go. You want to protect that lead, but I don't have faith in our defence to just sit and hold out, given how it's played in the last 3 matches. So I think we have to go for it to a degree. It's just difficult to see how we do that without leaving ourselves too exposed.
For me, I think the biggest thing is Russell Martin's went on about all the way leading into this. We think about ourselves, not about somebody else. So I think it'd be very hard from a rest to not list to change things up. He needs to do what he's been getting the team to do in pre-season. If he changes it this early, that instantly puts a doubt in players' minds. So he needs to kind of go with what he's been trying to get them to do so far. And we've seen it in the second half. In the first leg, it was much better. He can draw them in. They can be solid. We did have a bit of siege defending mentality in the first half, but that's just because we were so ineffective at getting the ball out. In the second half, that changed a lot. Obviously, they've got down to 10 men. That made a big difference. But I think now that you've got Gassama, etc., there now that can offer you a bit more width, it'll make life so much easier, because I think that's where the problem came from in the first half. We were just getting caught too much on the ball. They started to press up. It shut down our space, and because they were trying to build it out to the same way, we maybe just needed to go long once or twice just to open up their defence and push them back a wee bit. So I think we will see pretty much the players that finished the game on Saturday. That is pretty much what we're looking at, because that was the big difference. It'll be interesting to see if Agamani makes it back, because Martin said he had a knock and that's why they just didn't want to risk him. There was no point in that stage. Asgard was in the same section. I don't think Dessers fought a very good case for him to be anywhere near the team on Saturday, because it was so ineffective. It was unbelievable. It was just lackey running, lackey link up. Gentles did a better point of getting himself into the team than what Dessers did on Saturday, which if you're trying to earn yourself a move or fight for your place in a team, you need to do a lot more. You need to work for the team. I just don't think he did that on Saturday at all. So for me, Danny took a tackle and quite late on in the second half. It was a strong one. So if he's got any niggles there, it might not be worth the risk. If Igimani's fit, there's plenty of moving pieces. But I think in general, we'll say the same set up. It'll be the 4-3-3 style, 1 number 6, 2 number 8s. And I don't think he'll change much of what his style of play is. He'll want to get the ball and he'll want to have a go. But as long as we're solid at the back and we can keep them at wraps, that's the most important thing.
For sure. And as Hayeskiller in the chat points out, they've got to attack us. They are 2-0 down at halftime. And so they need to go ahead and try and get something out of this game. Whereas we're in a position where we can attack on the counter and hopefully control the game for ourselves a little bit more. So it's going to be an interesting test. I know it's not season defining, but I think it's important on a number of levels, because not only does it clarify what kind of competition you're aiming to be in, because I think if we get through this fixture, the next tie looks winnable. I also think knowing that you will have, at minimum, group stage European football, you'll know that, like, regardless of what level it's at, you'll know that that's going to be happening. If we get a result in this game, then you can plan a little bit better for what that future looks like. If you come out of this, you can plan, but accordingly as well, and it will be a little less happier for sure. But we're 2-0 up. It's half time. I think if we attack, we should be in good stead. Folks, we have a lot of stuff going on this week. So I believe that Stevie will be back midweek, do a little podcast. I don't know who will be joined by. But this Friday, we're doing a live show for ourselves down at Walters in Rutherglen. I'm coming up for it and everything. Andrew, Calvin will both be in attendance as well. I know Calvin's very excited about meeting his fan base. I think Andrew's going to try and make the case for Rabbi Matondo to several people in person as well.
I've told him
I'm
not allowed to talk about him anymore.
No, I'm sure it's going to go over great. It'll be super. We want to encourage folks, if you do want to come, there are a very few tickets left for this now. It's close to being sold out. So if you want to go and you've been on the fence about it, come on down. Come on. It'll be a laugh. We've never done a live show before. There'll be amazing mistakes, I'm sure. So, Stevie's going to try and do the first bit without me. So of course he's going to fail. It's going to be very exciting for us. We legitimately can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a great evening of entertainment as well. We've got other talented people coming on and singing after us as well. So, there's like actual talent as opposed to just what we're doing up there. I think it's going to be very exciting. I think it'll be a great evening. So, strongly encourage you to come on down. And if you can't come down, then you bastards, you'll just have to show support in some other way. Blue Bars of Blue has done the right and appropriate thing by gifting us 5 memberships. We say it every time, mate. Cannot thank you enough for your generosity. It is incredibly, honestly, it is. I struggle to find the words. It's legitimately, just very heartening for us that you continue to support us. You're asking about Kenny as well. He's fine. He's dealing with some personal matters at the moment, but he will be back in due course when he can be. We've not fired him from the pod or anything. If we do, we'd make much more of a song and dance about it. I'd be dancing and being very happy about it. So listen, we cannot thank everyone enough for your support that you've shown, liking, sharing, subscribing to the pod, becoming members of the pod as well. The support has been phenomenal, and we genuinely cannot thank you guys enough. Because of that, we are able to do things like this live show that we're doing on Friday down at Walters. So if you're going to be there, we look forward to seeing you there, because I'm not going to be on any pods until then, unless Stevie ropes me into the Wednesday one, which he might do. That's the kind of thing he does. But Calvin, thank you, my friend. Always appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem. Good to get you catch up in at the start of the week. Hopefully have a good one on Wednesday, and then we'll celebrate on Friday all together at Walters.
Definitely. And Andrew, as Calvin says, it's going to be good to get together in person and see all you guys. And yeah, let's hope we're celebrating something. We've got some optimism to take into the start of the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think it'll be a really good night. Come Friday night, hopefully the result will make it even better. Calvin's hat will be making an appearance. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, the blockbuster event.
It certainly will be. I think we're going to have a good laugh. I don't think we're going to take it too seriously. Stevie will, but that's him. So we won't. It's going to be good fun. So, yes, thank you again so much, guys, for turning out. We always appreciate your support. Cannot thank you enough. Every time you guys show up, the numbers that we get week on week keep surprising us. And it shouldn't really, because, you guys are just doing wonderful things supporting us. So thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. We might see you on Friday. But if not, until we talk to you again, folks, bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.